Hello, I'm Bretton, one of our MCAT tutors here at Inspire Advantage, where we help students get into medical school and other professional programs. And welcome back to MCAT Bites. Today, we're sharpening our focus on the pivotal concepts of natural selection and Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. These are both key terms for evolutionary biology, which you'll need for the MCAT. Understanding these principles, though, not only prepares you for the MCAT, but also will enrich your grasp of mechanisms driving biological diversity, which as a scientist, it's really important to know. So let's dive into natural selection. Natural selection itself is the differential survival and reproduction of individuals due to differences in phenotype, just how they look, right? We can see that these birds look different. They have a different phenotype. It's a cornerstone of Darwinian evolution, facilitating adaptation by favoring traits that enhance survival and reproductive success in a given environment. Key vocab you need to know for the MCAT here include fitness, which is referring to an organism's ability to survive and reproduce, selection pressures, which are factors that help influence fitness, and adaptive traits, characteristics that increase an individual's fitness in a specific environment. So for example, fitness is literally, did the organism have babies? That's all we care about. That's all evolution is driving. It's all natural selection. Selection pressures are those things maybe preventing you from having babies, right? If you are a black moth and your friend is a white moth and you live in a place with only black trees, well, the black moth is going to have a higher chance at survival because of those black trees, because it can camouflage itself. So the black trees, the environment, is the selection pressure for those moths. Using that same story, for adaptive traits, coloration would be the adaptive trait. The black moth has a better adaptive trait. It's black, it can hide, whereas the white moth is going to stick out like a sore thumb and get eaten by a bird, maybe even. Contrasting the dynamic nature of natural selection, the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium provides a model for understanding the genetic structure of a population in stasis, meaning there's no natural selection going on. It posits that allele and genotype frequencies in a large, random mating population remain constant from generation to generation in the absence of evolutionary influences. This equilibrium is pivotal for evolutionary biology, serving as a null hypothesis for detecting forces of evolution like natural selection, gene flow, and genetic drift. This is something we're going to dive into even more deeply in a future video because there are a lot of assumptions and math that go along with Hardy-Weinberg. Natural selection and Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium are intricately connected. While natural selection actively changes allele frequencies in a population, promoting adaptation, the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium describes a genetic makeup of a population that is not actively evolving. When a population deviates from Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, it's an indicator that evolutionary forces, including natural selection, are at play. Understanding this interplay is crucial for dissecting the evolutionary history and genetic diversity of populations. And would you look at that, a white and a black moth? Consider the case of a peppered moth, Industrial Revolution in England. The previously dominant white morph became susceptible to predation against soot-darkened trees. This is a clear demonstration of natural selection. Analysis of this population's allele frequencies over time would show a deviation from Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, signaling the action of select pressures on the population's genetic composition. The dialogue between natural selection and Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium forms the bedrock of evolutionary biology, indicating the dynamic interplay of genetics and environment. As you prepare for the MCAT, deepening your understanding of these concepts will not only aid in answering questions, but also provide a comprehensive framework for appreciating the complexity of life's evolution. So I want to thank you so much for learning about natural selection and Hardy-Weinberg, and I'll see you next time.